What if I told you that some of the foods you're eating right now, foods you may have been told are healthy, are actively spiking your blood sugar every single day? Not just a little, dramatically. And that the foods most doctors never talk about can bring those levels down faster than most people think possible. Here's what I want you to really sit with for a moment. Blood sugar problems don't announce themselves with sirens. They creep in quietly, through fatigue you chalk up to age, through that afternoon crash you've just accepted as normal, through tingling in your feet that you keep meaning to mention at your next appointment. And by the time most people realize what's actually happening, the damage has already begun. What I'm about to share with you will change the way you think about every single meal you eat. Because food isn't just fuel. For your blood sugar, food is medicine. Or it's poison. There's very little middle ground, and that's exactly what frightens me. Because most people don't realize this until it's too late. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel so you never miss clear, actionable health guidance designed to protect you and the people you love. I'm Dr. Everett Cole, and today we're going to talk about the best foods to eat to lower blood sugar fast, and what you absolutely need to know. Why this matters. Here's the reality we're living in right now. Over 100 million Americans have either diabetes or prediabetes. That's nearly 1 in 3 people. And the alarming part? Roughly 80% of those with prediabetes have no idea. None. They feel fine. They're going about their lives. But their blood sugar is silently doing damage to their blood vessels, their kidneys, their eyes, and their nerves. Damage that accumulates for years before any obvious symptoms appear. And the problem isn't just diagnosis, it's misinformation. People are told to cut carbs or eat less sugar, and while those aren't wrong, they're wildly incomplete. Because it's not just how much sugar you eat, it's the type of foods you choose, the order you eat them in, and whether you're giving your body the specific nutrients it needs to process glucose efficiently. Most people are completely missing this picture. They're making substitutions that feel healthy, but are quietly making things worse. Modern food marketing has also made this harder. Low fat, whole grain, natural sweetener. These labels sound reassuring, but many of these products send blood sugar through the roof. Meanwhile, some of the most powerful blood sugar stabilizing foods on the planet are affordable, accessible, and sitting in your grocery store right now, largely ignored. Most people are eating their way into a blood sugar crisis without ever knowing it. Today we change that. Number 1, apple cider vinegar, the overnight game changer nobody talks about. Let's start here because this one surprises almost everyone. Apple cider vinegar, the plain, unfiltered kind with the mother, has been studied repeatedly for its effect on blood sugar, and the results are striking. When consumed before or with a high-carbohydrate meal, it can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 20 to 30% in some studies. That is not a small number. Here's the mechanism. The acetic acid in vinegar slows gastric emptying, meaning food moves more slowly from your stomach into your small intestine. This delays the absorption of glucose into your bloodstream, giving your body more time to manage the influx. It also appears to improve insulin sensitivity in muscle cells, so your body can actually use the insulin it's producing more effectively. Now, this doesn't mean you should drink it straight. That can damage tooth enamel and irritate your esophagus. 1 to 2 tablespoons diluted in a large glass of water, consumed 15 to 20 minutes before your biggest meal of the day, is the practical approach. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in water before meals is one of the simplest, cheapest interventions you can make. Don't overlook it because it sounds too simple. Number 2, leafy greens, the foundation you can't skip. Now, here's where it gets more serious, because if you're not building every meal around leafy greens, you're working against yourself. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, arugula, these are not just low in carbohydrates. They are densely packed with magnesium, a mineral that plays a direct role in insulin function. In fact, research shows that people with low magnesium levels have significantly higher rates of insulin resistance. And studies consistently find that people with type 2 diabetes tend to have lower magnesium levels than those without it. Beyond magnesium, leafy greens are high in fiber and contain almost no digestible starch. They have a glycemic index close to 0. That means eating a large portion of leafy greens alongside a higher carb food dramatically blunts the blood sugar impact of that meal. It slows absorption and provides a buffer that your body desperately needs. Here's the practical truth. Most people think of greens as a side dish, a small pile on the edge of the plate. I want you to rethink that entirely. Greens should be the base, the largest portion on your plate, not the afterthought. Build every lunch and dinner around at least 2 cups of leafy greens. This single habit, done consistently, can meaningfully improve your blood sugar over time. Number 3, fatty fish. The blood sugar inflammation connection most people miss. Number 3 is something people overlook for far too long, and it's one that has layers most people don't appreciate. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring, and trout are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Most people associate omega-3s with heart health, and that's fair, but there's a direct link to blood sugar that gets far less attention. Chronic inflammation is now understood to be a key driver of insulin resistance. Your body's inflammatory response literally interferes with insulin signaling at the cellular level, and omega-3 fatty acids are among the most powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients we have. Beyond that, fatty fish contain high-quality protein with essentially zero carbohydrates. Protein increases satiety, meaning you stay full longer, and it has a minimal impact on blood sugar compared to carbohydrates. A meal centered around a fatty fish fillet, leafy greens, and a non-starchy vegetable is one of the most blood sugar-friendly meals you can eat. And there's one more piece here. People with diabetes and prediabetes are at dramatically elevated risk for cardiovascular disease. The omega-3s in fatty fish protect the heart directly, so this food is working on multiple fronts simultaneously. Aim to eat fatty fish at least 2 to 3 times per week. If fresh fish isn't accessible or affordable, canned sardines and canned wild salmon are excellent, inexpensive alternatives. Number 4, cinnamon, the spice that mimics insulin. This one is fascinating, and I want to make sure you understand why it works, because knowing the mechanism is what makes it stick. Cinnamon contains a compound called cinnamaldehyde, along with several other bioactive substances that appear to mimic insulin and improve insulin sensitivity. Studies have shown that taking 1 to 3 grams of cinnamon daily, that's roughly half to 1 teaspoon, can lower fasting blood sugar levels by anywhere from 10 to 29% in people with type 2 diabetes. Now, not all cinnamon is equal. Ceylon cinnamon, sometimes called true cinnamon, is lower in coumarin, a compound that can stress the liver in large amounts, making it the safer choice for daily use. Cassia cinnamon, the most common kind sold in grocery stores, has higher coumarin levels and should be used more sparingly. Adding cinnamon to oatmeal, plain yogurt, coffee, smoothies, or roasted vegetables is easy and practical. It's not a substitute for medication if you need it, but as a daily dietary habit, it genuinely moves the needle. Half a teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon daily, sprinkled on food or stirred into a drink, is a simple, evidence-backed addition to your blood sugar management plan. Number 5, beans and lentils, the slow-carb secret. And this brings us to number 5, which is one of the most overlooked tools in blood sugar management and one of the most misunderstood. A lot of people with blood sugar concerns hear carbs are bad and immediately cut out beans and lentils. This is a mistake. Not all carbohydrates behave the same way in your body. Beans and lentils are what nutrition scientists call slow carbs. They have a low glycemic index, meaning they release glucose gradually into your bloodstream rather than all at once. And they are packed with soluble fiber, which creates a gel-like substance in your digestive tract that slows glucose absorption even further. Here's a patient story I want you to hear. Margaret was 67 years old when she came to see me with a fasting blood sugar of 138, solidly in the diabetic range. She was terrified. She told me she'd already cut out bread, pasta, and rice, but her numbers weren't moving. When we looked at what she was eating, her meals were high in animal protein, but almost completely lacking in fiber. She was eating barely 8 grams of fiber per day. The recommendation is 25 to 38. We added black beans, lentil soup, and chickpeas to her meals 3 to 4 times per week. 6 months later, her fasting blood sugar had dropped to 104. Same medication, no other major changes, just fiber. That's the power that most people walk right past in the grocery store. Add half a cup of beans or lentils to your meals 4 to 5 times per week. Black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, green lentils, they're all excellent. Canned varieties are fine, just rinse them to reduce sodium. Number 6. Eggs, the perfect blood sugar neutral protein. This next one shocked me when I first saw how common the misconception around it is, and I want to clear it up directly. For decades, eggs were villainized because of dietary cholesterol concerns. People with blood sugar problems were often told to limit eggs or avoid the yolk. The science has shifted dramatically on this. Eggs contain essentially zero carbohydrates. They have no glycemic impact. They are rich in high-quality protein and healthy fats that promote satiety. And multiple studies have now found that eating eggs regularly has no negative effect on blood sugar and may actually improve insulin sensitivity markers. The yolk specifically contains choline, which supports liver function, important because the liver plays a major role in glucose regulation. People who avoid the yolk are discarding one of the most nutrient-dense parts of the food. For people who need to manage blood sugar, eggs are one of the most versatile and effective foods available. A breakfast of 2 or 3 eggs with vegetables will produce a dramatically flatter blood sugar curve than almost any cereal, toast, or fruit-based breakfast you can name. If you're eating cereal or toast for breakfast, your blood sugar is likely spiking every single morning. Try replacing at least 3 or 4 breakfasts a week with eggs and vegetables. The difference you'll feel and eventually see in your numbers may surprise you. Number 7. Nuts and seeds, the snack that works for you. Number 7 is something people get wrong in a very specific way, and it usually comes down to portion and timing. Almonds, walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, and pumpkin seeds are rich in healthy fats, protein, and fiber, a combination that makes them nearly ideal for blood sugar management. Research on almonds specifically has shown that eating them with a high carbohydrate meal significantly reduces the post-meal blood sugar response. And walnuts contain a unique combination of omega-3 fatty acids and polyphenols that support insulin sensitivity. But here's where people go wrong. They reach for nuts as a healthy snack, but they're snacking because they're hungry between meals, which means their meals aren't keeping them full. If you're snacking constantly, we need to look at what's in your main meals, not just the snacks themselves. A handful of almonds between meals is far better than crackers or fruit, but the goal should be meals that keep your blood sugar stable for 4 to 5 hours without needing a snack at all. Chia seeds and flax seeds deserve special mention here. Both are extremely high in soluble fiber and can be added to smoothies, yogurt, or oatmeal to dramatically slow glucose absorption. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain nearly 10 grams of fiber. That is a significant impact on the glycemic response of whatever you eat them with. A small handful of almonds or walnuts with meals, not as constant snacks, and 2 tablespoons of chia or flax seeds daily, added to food, are practical, high-impact choices. Number 8. Avocado, the fat that flattens the curve. Here's where it gets more serious, because what avocado does to a blood sugar response is one of the clearest demonstrations of how fat, fiber, and food timing interact. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fat and contain roughly 10 grams of fiber per whole fruit. When you add avocado to a meal, sliced on eggs, mixed into a salad, or as guacamole alongside vegetables, the fat slows gastric emptying. That means glucose enters your bloodstream more slowly. The fiber adds additional buffering. The result is a significantly flattened blood sugar curve after eating. Beyond the acute effect, the potassium and magnesium in avocados support overall metabolic function. And unlike most high-fat foods, avocados are entirely plant-based and come with a suite of micronutrients that support vascular health, important because blood sugar dysregulation and cardiovascular risk are deeply intertwined. This isn't a food you need to fear because of its calorie density. The type of fat matters enormously. Avocado fat does not behave in your body the way processed vegetable oils or trans fats do. Half an avocado added to any meal, particularly one that contains carbohydrates, will meaningfully blunt your blood sugar response. Make it a regular feature, not an occasional treat. Number 9. Plain Greek yogurt, the fermented food your gut and blood sugar both need. And we close with something that works on 2 levels at once, and that the research has become increasingly clear about. Plain, full-fat Greek yogurt contains protein, some fat, and beneficial probiotic bacteria. The protein and fat slow glucose absorption, as we've discussed, but the probiotic component adds something different. Emerging research is building a compelling case that gut microbiome health is directly connected to blood sugar regulation and insulin sensitivity. People with type 2 diabetes consistently show altered gut microbiome profiles, and regularly consuming fermented foods like plain Greek yogurt appears to support healthier gut bacteria populations over time. The critical word here is plain. Flavored yogurt, even brands marketed as light or low fat, is often loaded with added sugar and can spike blood sugar dramatically. Full-fat plain Greek yogurt has a far lower glycemic impact and keeps you full significantly longer. Robert, a 72-year-old patient of mine, had been eating low-fat flavored yogurt every morning for years because he thought it was helping him. When we analyzed his morning blood sugar readings, they were consistently elevated after breakfast. Switching to a cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt with a tablespoon of chia seeds and half a teaspoon of cinnamon brought his post-breakfast readings down by 40 points within 3 weeks. Same time, same effort, completely different food. If yogurt is part of your routine, it must be plain. Full-fat, plain Greek yogurt, ideally with added chia seeds and cinnamon, is a genuinely powerful breakfast or snack for blood sugar management. Let me give you this in a way you can actually use starting today. If you eat breakfast, replace grain-based breakfasts with eggs and vegetables at least 4 mornings a week. Add avocado if you can. Your morning blood sugar spike and the energy crash that follows will likely disappear. If you currently snack throughout the day, build your meals around protein, healthy fat, and fiber instead. Leafy greens, beans, fatty fish, eggs, and avocado at your main meals should keep you full and stable for hours. If you use sugar or flavored creamers in your coffee, try replacing them with a sprinkle of cinnamon and a splash of full-fat cream. Minimal carbohydrate impact, significant blood sugar benefit. If you eat carbohydrates at any meal, eat your leafy greens and protein first, then the carbohydrates. Food order has a documented impact on post-meal glucose levels. This one change, no new foods required, can reduce blood sugar spikes by 30 to 40%. If you're choosing between snacks, choose nuts over crackers, chips, or fruit. Always. If you're not currently consuming any fermented foods, add plain Greek yogurt, kimchi, or sauerkraut to your weekly routine. Your gut microbiome and your blood sugar will both respond. If you're not drinking enough water, start. Dehydration concentrates glucose in the bloodstream. Simple, overlooked, important. I want to leave you with something that I think gets lost in most conversations about blood sugar. This isn't about fear, it's not about restriction, it's not about giving up every food you enjoy or living under a cloud of worry every time you sit down to eat. What it's about is understanding. Understanding that your body is remarkably responsive, that the foods you choose tomorrow can produce measurable changes in your blood sugar within days. Understanding that you have far more agency here than most people realize. The foods we've talked about today aren't exotic or expensive or difficult to find. They're real food. They're food your body was designed to thrive on. You're not powerless here. You're informed. And informed is where real change begins. If this helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because there is a very good chance they do. Subscribe for more videos like this, and watch our next video on the hidden signs of prediabetes that most doctors miss, where we explain the subtle symptoms showing up in your body years before a diagnosis, and exactly what to do about them. Your health is built through small daily choices, and understanding is where that starts.